Hello, Firoz.
Hello.
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 Yeah, hi,
Yes,
Firoz.
Yes.
We
Hi.
can hear you.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, there was few technical things. So I've connected with my phone. Just let me know if the voice is going down or anything like that. I can work on it. Okay?
Sure. So,
Okay.
thank you, Firoz, and thank you everyone for your patience. I understand that there were some issues connecting to the WebEx. So, today we have Firoz delivering the sessions. So, Firoz, you can over to you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Well, guys, and thank you so much for your patience across, right? We were having few technical issues, and it was like around taking a long time to make it up. Well, so we will quickly go up. I don't want to take up most of your time, right? I hope you guys should be having a basic knowledge about Azure. So we are here to join. Abhi, is it audible now?
Yeah, it is better now, Firoz. There was some
Okay,
echo
fine.
initially, but now this is, yeah.
All right. So I assume that you people should have already worked with Azure, and we will just go off with content for today, which is about the database migration stuff. Okay. Yes, I'm just opening up the site. Give me a moment. Should not take a long time.
Hello. I think Firoz, we can't hear you.
Hi, am I audible now? Hello.
Yes, Firoz. Yeah,
All right.
Firoz,
All
yes.
right. Thanks, Lata. Okay, fine. So we will go up with this, right? We will go up with the database migration service, and I hope you guys should have been already having a good knowledge about the database platforms that we have in Azure, like your data bricks, yeah, particularly database steps, right? Your Azure SQL database, your steps like you go up with a NoSQL, which is a Cosmos DB, all these things. So here I will go up with things which is said to be your DMS, right? I'll just directly click on to it and record as DMS. So your DMS starts with three major things. One is your assist, the second one is said to be a migrate, and third one is going to be your optimize. Whenever you go up with the database migration, right, your database migration is said to be a platform that you have. I was previously saying the same where we had an audio disconnection. Okay, your DMS is said to be a platform that you're going to have, and this DMS will help you to migrate your applications from various data sources that you have. Let's say one data source could be an on-prem that you have, and the other data source is said to be already, which is running on Azure SQL DB. I can connect all these things. I can collect multiple data sources, and I can just map it towards the destination layer. Let's say, for example, if it is set to be a NoSQL or anything like that, I can just push it towards the NoSQL store that we have in Azure. So there we go up with this tool called as database migration journey. And if you ask me a question, how the DMS is going to help me over the downtime or over the migration steps or anything like that, DMS is such a powerful platform where we come up with something called as Assist. You have Assist, which can help you with taking up the assessment. You can just go out saying that this is all the data sources that I have. You're going to represent the schema. The schema is going to be validated by Microsoft Azure platform using the DMA tool. I just want to repeat it once again. It's DMA, Database Migration Assistant. The Database Migration Assistant will help you to migrate, it's going to take up the schema that you have in the on-premise. It's going to give you a representation. Let's say I'll take up a simple scenario of example. I have a machine which is running Azure, SQL Server, not Azure. It's running a database with SQL Server 2008. And I need to move all these data, what I have in the SQL Server 2008 towards Azure SQL MI, probably the one which is using 2019. In that case, I need to work on something called as database migration with a schema, right? So I'll be representing the schema which I have it at the on-prem. DMA is going to validate the schema. It will tell me what all the data modeling I need to do, what all the data schema I need to keep changing it, and then I can move the data towards my cloud environment. Two things the Assist is going to help us is, one is schema, the second one is going to be the downtime that we have. So your downtime in the sense, Assist will tell you what's going to be the time taken for the migration between the on-prem machine and the cloud that you have. So there we go up with Assist. Migrate is just to collect the data. It's going to collect all your data that you have, and it's going to migrate the things. And finally, optimize is to ensure that your data is going to be available for your customers over the cloud environment. It's going to help you towards the fault tolerance or anything that we have in the cloud. So your Assist is going to help you out with your reports that you have, your downtime schemas that you're going to have. Okay, so those things. I hope you can find the screen, right? I have an on-premise, which I have given a layer. It can be a Microsoft SQL Server Store, it can be Oracle, it can be MySQL, Postgre, or MongoDB. You're going to take up the assessment, right, using SSMA and DMA, right? This is the assistant tool that we are going to use. And using DMS, Database Migration Service, I'm going to move the data towards the cloud environment. Probably I could say that I'm going to use Microsoft Azure, any of the stores that we have in the Microsoft Azure platform. Well, let's get into quickly. Now, I have few questions to you guys to make it much interactive, right? Let's make it a bit interactive session. Can I migrate a database which is said to be MySQL towards a DB which is said to be MySQL which is on the cloud? Can I do that? This is a homogeneous one. I will repeat my question. I have a database which is at on-prem. It's a MySQL one. Can I just do the migration for the MySQL which is running over the Azure cloud? Hey
Yeah.
guys, I hope
Yeah.
I'm connected. Yes, yes. All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
So home, yeah, thanks dear. Thanks for interacting. So we have the homogeneous one which can be done. Now what about the heterogeneous? Let's say that I have something called as a PostgreSQL, a relation database service, which is PostgreSQL. Can I move that towards a MySQL store that I have in Azure? Or can I move MongoDB towards uh, Azure SQL database on Azure? Hey guys.
Suppose it goes only RDBMS to RDBMS. MongoDB is kind of no SQL database, so won't be supported.
There we go. Not exactly, right? See, that's like a common mindset what we have, right? It was previously there when we had something called as DM. We have still, which is a DMS, which is on AWS. But now all these guys have started supporting us with something called as a homogeneous and heterogeneous migrations that we can do. So you can be with a relation database to relation database platform, or you can even be with a non-relation database to a relation database platform. Any of these things can help us to move the data towards the cloud environment. Okay, so Azure DMS is going to support you, which can be a homogeneous migration or heterogeneous migration. I just need to set up a wrap across this heads up. So DMS is a tool which is going to help you for the database migration. Okay, makes sense. It is Azure Database Migration Service. It is a 4 character that you have, ADMS. This migration service will come up with a tool which is predefined called as DMA, Database Migration Assistant. Assistant will help you to take up the assessment that we have. You can just take up the assessment. You can say that this is going to be my cloud environment. This is going to be my on-premise environment. So you're going to set up the source and destination, and then quickly you will start migrating the things which is between your on-prem and the cloud. So there I go with the further things, right? I will just go across the further assistant tools that we have. Assistant can help me to go off with the SS that I would have it at the on-premise. Okay, this can help me on instance migration towards the Azure SQL DB. It can discover the issues that you have. It can just say that what are the things that's going to affect your on-prem SQL. So to overcome all these things, we have two sort of database migration things. So we have something called as online migration, and the other one you have called as offline migration. Online migration is said to be the one which we have. Let's say I have a database which is said to run on cloud, right? Or let me take up a simple example, then I will go for a better one, right? I have a database which is said to be at on-premise. The applications are reached by my clients. Still, I need to move the application towards the one which I have at cloud, right? So there I will go up with the online database migration. The online database migration will say that I'm not going to pull down my application. Instead, the database will be still available for my customers. There will be a SLA which is going to happen. And as the database is accessible by the customer, I'm going to move the data towards the cloud environment. So I'll be maintaining a replica, and then I'm going to move this data towards the cloud environment. So there I will go for something called as online migration. And offline migration is something where we don't go up with any downtime. There's no minimal downtime that we have when I speak about the offline migration. I'll just pull down. I would say that my customers would not be able to access the application for an overnight or anything. So it's just going to be an easy way. I'm going to discover the data that I have in the on-premise. I can monitor the migration. I can overcome the downtime that we have, right? There's zero downtime because I have shut down my machine, right, for the clients. After the client sends, I'm going to shut down the machine and I'm going to migrate the data that we have. So I can just put up the application to be not reachable for my customers and I can move the data towards the cloud environment. So that's offline migration. When you migrate database towards Azure by using Azure Database Migration Service, I would repeat it, you can use any of these two things, offline or online migration. With an offline migration, application downtime starts when the migration starts. I would repeat it. When an offline migration, when you go up with the offline migration, right, your application downtime will start when the migration is going to start. And when an online migration happens, the downtime is limited to the time to cut over the end of the migration. Okay, so we suggest that you can go up with the offline migration to determine whether the downtime is acceptable or not. Okay, if the clients are okay with the downtime, then we can go up with the online migration. If not, you need to go up with the online migration. Are you clear? Any questions until this? I hope we are connected. Hello?
Yeah. Hi, this is Tarun here. How much is the difference between the pricing of the both?
Pricing is going to be not a major difference that you have, but ideally speaking, online will cost you more. The pricing over here is set to be on the services that we have. So I cannot tell you that this is the fixed price what we have as such, right? You can be at a NoSQL store or you can be at a SQL store. Depends on the product that you're going to select. But online migration is set to be a costly factor compared to its offline migration. Are you clear?
Can you come again with this point? What is the disadvantage of the online migration?
See, it's not disadvantage. Microsoft says that there will be a SLA when you go up with the online migration. You have a number of concurrent users, right? Let's say that you have 5,000 concurrent users who can log in towards your database. Now, when I move up with the online migration, it's not going to be a 5,000, speaking on an industrial perspective. It can be 2,000 or it can be 2,500 concurrent users who can log in towards your database. So the rest 2,500 would not be able to log in. That's going to be a problem for you. And there might be a data leakage that happens when a migration happens, right? So to overcome all these things, it's recommended that you go up with offline where there will be downtime. Okay, your downtime starts when the migration starts. Whereas when you speak about online migration, it's going to be limited. They say limited, but you cannot predict what's going to be the time that you're going to take. Okay, what's going to be the number of concurrent users which can be logged in towards your Azure SQL DB or the on-prem DB that you have. So that's the disadvantage. Are you clear? You cannot come up with a recommended constraint saying that this is the number of concurrent users who can log in towards my data. I hope you're getting it.
Okay.
Yeah. Whereas when I say offline migration, it's like banking scenario. We get messages, right? We say that the net banking is not going to work for the next 2 hours or 3 years like that. Within the 2 hours or 3 years, you're going to do the offline the migration. So that's offline. For the customer's point, it's an offline. They would not be able to access the DB. Okay. You're going to take 2 hours or you're going to take 3 years, and you're just going to move the data from the on-prem towards the cloud environment. That's it. So it's recommended that you go for an offline migration. It will be more in fast that you do an offline migration. Okay. But the only thing is that you need to determine the downtime. The SS will tell you what's going to be the downtime. You need to inform the customers, and if the customers are okay with 3 years of downtime, then you can move up with offline migration. I hope you're getting it.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, Firoz. How much data it will support, Firoz?
You mean for per database you're asking about, or you're asking about the whole migration that you have?
Yeah, for online as well as offline.
Both online and offline is going to support you up to a max of 2 TB data that you can migrate from the on-prem towards the cloud environment or even between the SQL stores that you have. So it's a maximum of 2 TB, okay? And that depends on the database. Like if you say that I have a server which is going to have some 100 database or anything like that, then it depends. Like it's going to be 2 TB, and if your data is within 2 TB, you can go up with a migration. You need to put up the source. You will say the target. You need to select the objects. I mean, let's say, for example, dbo.employee, dbo.vendor. Okay, I can select all those things and I can do the migration. Okay. So it's 2 TB, ideally speaking. Yeah.
Yeah. One more thing, Firoz. It is going to query the data and it will take the, it will migrate the data, or it will take the backup of the existing database and it will migrate it.
It will take up the backup as well. It's not only about the data. It is not only about the data and schema that you have or anything. It's going to take up the entire A to Z, the constraints that you have. Okay, all those things will be taken.
Okay.
Even including your roles as well.
Okay. So even this is applicable for heterogeneous as well as homogeneous database, 2TB.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Right. Any other
My
questions?
OLTP
Yeah.
is having 15 minutes SLA. If you do it online, that is supported. Kind of banking applications and all the things. It is per minute updations or per second updations will happen, right? So if you go with
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, your voice is breaking. Can you come again, please?
yeah, if I go with online migration for my OLTP database, which is having per minute or per second updations happens, transactions.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it will support. It will block any of the migration or any of the user transactions. Will it block?
Okay. I will give you a best use case pitch for this, right? When you have a database, probably a transaction database, where for each and every second you're going to have read and writes that's happening, then it's not recommended that you go for an online migration. You need to put off, right? Because there might be a, see, you take up a migration, it's going to maintain the logs. Let's say it's going to update the logs, which is saying that the up to 20 rows or 30 rows have been moved towards the Azure database. It's not going to be in sync. The 21st row is going to get updated. Okay, so when the 21st row gets updated towards the cloud environment, then there you're going to face, it's moreover going to be like a corrupted data, right? Because you again have the read operation and the write operation which has happened at on-prem.
Yeah.
In that case, online migration is not going to support you. You have to go up with offline migration because once again you need to come for scratch zero and then you have to start the migration, which is going to kill your time. So it's recommended that you go with an offline migration when there are more number of concurrent users and read and writes that's happening on your database. Ideally, I can say a banking application. It's not recommended that you can go with an online migration. You should have seen, right? You get messages saying that the application will not be available, your net banking will not work for the next 2 hours or 3 hours, something like that, when there's a patch or something happens, when some rollout happens on your database. So they do offline migration. Online is not a best use case fit.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Firoz, actually, one more thing. So we
Yes,
have
yes.
to consider SQL server side, we have MDF and LDF kind. So LDF will take the
Correct.
log transaction and MDF is the master data kind. So,
Correct.
so if you migrate the SQL, you can do the full migration of the MDF as then we can wait long and we can take offline migration. That can be possible or
Huh. But that's like a long architecture again you do, right? You're just first going to take up all your logs, you're going to keep it to be recorded, then you go up with a master. That's like a long architecture that you have again. But that's possible, you can do that. Yes. You can split the things into first with the online one and then the offline migration.
okay.
Yeah. But I mean, it's going to take you a long time, and that's like a long way of architecture again we are going to implement. So, speaking on the industrial standard, as of now, we are not using those things. We just make sense like we have to move with the online or we have to move with the offline as such.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions? All right. I hope we are good to go, right? So I'll just go up with this. We have the online database migration, makes sense. Your downtime is limited on the online migration. You can migrate the data from the on-premise to the cloud with a less cut of time, unless it's going to be a DB like what we are discussing now, the more number of transactions that you have or anything. You can use this when you're going to say that there's no down that you have for the application. But again, I would say that your number of concurrent users are limited, right? The SLA is going to be here. They say 99.9%. And when you have more number of read and writes happening, this is not going to work for you. The next one that you have is set to be offline migration. This will quash your application downtime. It's going to stop the application. Application cannot be used until the migration gets completed for you. You can use it with no application dependencies, right? There's no application dependency. I mean, the client is not going to access the application. It's going to be like a standalone, and then you're going to just migrate it, okay? Here are a few scenarios that I have pointed out, which you can make sense. You can migrate the SQL Server to your SQL DB, that is your Azure SQL database, which can be an online or which can be an offline sort of migration. And the same you have it for the other things as well, migrating from MySQL, migrating relation database service from the MySQL to Azure DB, and the MongoDB, right? In AWS, you have something called DynamoDB. I hope you guys should know that. You can even call it from other sources, let's say from AWS to Azure or anything like that, okay? And when I speak about Azure, it's going to be Cosmos DB that we have. Inside a Cosmos DB, I'll be having Mongo API. It's a flavor, right? I hope you guys should have heard something called Cosmos DB. It's going to be a flavor. You have SQL API, you have Mongo API, you have table APIs, okay? You have all these things. I hope you're clear till this. Any questions?
So if you migrate heterogeneous databases, then the objects and all the things will be taken care by a DMS itself.
Not exactly by DMS there. You have something called DMA inside the DMS. So your DMA will tell you, DMA will do two things. One is they can do assessment. The second one is they can do migration, which is the part of database migration service. Okay. It will just tell you that the object, the schema, what you need to change. It will not take up the action on that. It will just recommend you that you have to do all these changes. It's your responsibility that you will work on again the data modeling. You need to change the schema, all these things. It is just going to guide you with the recommendations. That's it. Very clear?
Even the stats and indexes and all the things will be taken care, or we need to take care of that after migrating?
Yes, that it will take care. That will be automatically taken care. It will set you a flag. It will set you a flag saying that this is not recommended for a NoSQL store when you move with the heterogeneous one.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Well, guys, so I will quickly go up with next sort of thing, right? Database migration service comes up with different service plans. I hope you should have heard probably the one which we have, right? Like an app service, all these things. This is also a platform as a service. This is going to help you out on coming up something called plans. Okay, this will have a pre-built compute memory. So you have it like this. You have standard and you have premium things. Okay, so your standard will help you to go up with pricing which is set to be free. It comes up with up to a maximum of 4 core of CPUs, and the premium comes up with 4 core of CPUs where it can come a dedicated read and write things. Okay, so that's going to be a costable factor for you. This is where we go up with DMS. I'll quickly go up with the database migration service, right? And I would take up with a demo for the same. So now I'm going to help you guys to make sense about the DMS on Azure, okay? And let's work on the demo where we are going to come up with SSMS, okay? I'll make sure that there will be a database, a sample database, which will be created on your on-prem machine. Consider we will go up with our on-premise machine. And then I will move the same towards the cloud environment. Okay, and move it towards the Azure cloud environment, probably let's say a SQL database or anything. Okay, let's say an Azure SQL DB. So my source is set to be from SSMS, where I'm going to create a SQL DB. And my destination is going to be over the cloud, which is set to be, again, Azure SQL database. And I'm going to use DMS with a DMA, which is going to give us the assessment, which is going to tell us what all the scripts that have to be generated, what all the flags it comes across, how we are going to fix all these things. Okay. Now, I just want to know whether you guys have a good skills of SQL database, Azure SQL database.
Yes, Firoz, yeah. We have minimal, yeah.
All right. Okay, fine. Let's make it interactive, please. People, I mean the others whom we have, let's make it interactive here. Just post your things, okay? So that I can just map the session based on the understanding what you have. Now, I will go for the destination first. Okay, I'll create a database. I'll go for destination. Once when I complete the demo, okay, I will help you guys by giving you the Azure accounts. You can start working on the demo and you can let me know if you have any questions. Okay. Let me go off with the Azure Portal. So this is where I have my Azure Portal. Okay. And wait, I'm sorry, I will go off with a different account. Okay, so here I'll set my destination first. Okay, I will go up with an Azure SQL database. Let's click on create a resource. And I will say I will go for a database and then SQL database that we have here. So here, I'll just give you a heads up. I have subscription. I can select the one which I'm going to use. I'll create a resource group, naming it as TCS VISD resource group. And I'll give a DB name. Okay, so this is my destination database. I will just say it's going to be, okay, TCS SQL resource group. Sorry, not resource group, this is DB, right? So it's TCS SQL DB. Let's create a server. I'll click on create new. This is a logical server, makes sense. Okay, this is a fast service. This is a logical server. Let's go up with the server name, calling it as code sizzler. And the user credential is demo user, password is demo at pass123. You can even use the same if you would forget of one, right? I'll just make it across here. I have set a username as demo user and password is demo at pass123. Let's click on select to get the logical server to be selected. So here we go up with the logical server. You have the logical server which has been created. And you can also find something called a SQL. Hello? Hello?
Yes,
Okay.
Suraj.
So, yes, someone was trying to pose some questions. Okay, fine. So we have something called as elastic pool here. Pooling is to make sure that the details will be shared for the other database as well. Let's say I would say I need a pooling, right? I'll say I will create a new pooling. I'll name this as code sizzler pool. So here you should be finding we have the elastic pool. Can you find this? So for, let's say that I'm going to take up a DB, the basic database, which is going to have 5 GB and the max it's going to, I mean the minimum it's going to support is 50 DTUs. This 50 DTUs can be shared for each and every database that you have, like 5 DTUs for each and every one. So if DB1 is going to have the most utilization, right, it causes 5 DTUs, something like that. then DB2 will share its 5DTU with the first database that we have if it is not under utilization. So this ensures that there is a high availability that you have. Okay, so that's why we go up with pooling. I will not use the pooling here, I will go up with the standalone one. And let's configure the database. I'll go up with the basic. Additional settings. I'm going to use the blank database. And this is the collection type that you have. Let's click on bank. Okay, create it. So my destination is getting set up now. Okay. Any questions until this?
So how will you decide the DTU, Firoz?
Sorry, how you will be getting? Can you come again?
How will you decide the DTU?
You mean, here I'm going to move to standalone one, yeah, so I no need to worry about DTUs. Okay. If I go up with a database which is said to have a huge workload, so the group of database, something like that, there I should mention DTUs. I would say basic standard, something like that. I showed you the elastic pool, right? So inside the elastic pool, you need to mention what amount of DTUs you are going to consume.
So while doing the migration, it should have more amount of DTUs, kind of thing?
No, it's not recommended that you should have more number of DTUs or anything. Because if it is an online database migration, then you will be mentioning the DTUs that you need. Okay. I mean, you need to make sense, like how much customers you have, how many concurrent users you have, all these things. And then you need to represent the DTUs. DMS will not take care about that. When I'm saying about online migration. If it is online migration, there's no headache of DTUs at all, right? It's only you. It's a standalone one. You're going to do lift and shift operations. That's it. So if it is offline, there's no DTU related things. If it is online, you will go up with the DTU stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. It's getting deployed. Let's wait for it.
So one more thing, Firoz. If I use my on-premise database, my users will be able to connect without any issues. But it is migrating to cloud, right? What are the other things I need to take care? Even though users it is going to migrate, but any firewall settings or anything has to be.
You have, yes. As of now, what I'm speaking is only about the PaaS service that we have. I haven't gone with IaaS, right? So when tomorrow's session will be on IaaS, so I will tell you that we have to create a networking environment, a VNet, okay? And we have to make sure that port 3389 is opened up at the source and that the destination we have 1433 which is going to be opened up. We need to work on the virtual networks.
Okay.
Yeah. I will brief you when I go for the IaaS one. As today, the topic is set to be on the PaaS that we have. Okay?
Okay. Fine. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Okay. So here we have, right, we have the DB which has been created. This is my destination. Now what I will do is I will go up with a source. Okay, my destination is ready. I will go up with a source which will be having SSMS. Okay. So let's say create a resource and SQL Server. consider this will be a on-premise machine. Okay, it will be an on-prem machine that you are going to use. So let's go up with this SQL Server 2016 Service Pack 1. Okay. I don't have a SSMS on my machine, so I'm creating a lab machine which could work for me as a probably the lab one, okay, the on-prem one. Okay, so consider this is going to be an on-prem machine. I hope you're getting it. Okay, consider this as an on-prem machine. Okay, I don't have SSMS on my the one which I'm using right now, so I'm going up with the SQL Server 2016 Service Pack 1 to be created. Okay, let's say resource group. I will put it on the same resource group that we have, TCS VILT. And VM name, I will say it's going to be SQL Lab VM. Yes, let's say SQL Lab VM. Yes. And size, I will go up with B2MS. Username, it's demo user.
Hello, Firoz.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi. Could you please repeat like why this VM is required?
We need an on-prem, right? We need an on-prem on which I'm going to create a DB, and that DB I'm going to move it towards the cloud. Okay. To create a database, I need a SSMS. I don't have a SSMS on the machine which I'm working right now. That might be the same use case scenario what you guys even have. You would not have a SSMS which is there on your laptop. So we are creating a VM which will come up with a SSMS, and there we are going to create a database on the local one. Okay, and that will be moved towards the cloud.
Okay.
Are you clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So for this, I'm using the same credential. Okay, please make sense that you guys will not forget the credentials when you create the machine. Okay, and port I will go up with 3389. Disk. Let's say I'm using a hard disk. No need to configure anything over the networking, right? You can just say next, management. In your SQL Server settings, you need to ensure that you will enable this. Okay, SQL authentication should be enabled and make it as a public. Okay, security networking should be public, and start creating the VM now. So this VM gets created now.
Yeah, Firoz, one more thing.
Yes.
Yeah, see, here you are using Azure VM, right?
Yes.
So it is in same network kind. Even though it is VM, the SQL Server is there at VM level.
SQL Server is on same. No, no, no. Once when the VM gets created, I will show you. I'm going to connect for the local one. It's not on Azure network. Unless you connect for the server, which is said to be on cloud, it's not going to be at Azure network.
Okay.
When you just connect, right, it's going to be on your cloud environment that you have. Okay. I mean, you have two things. One is a local one that you have. Just the VM is alone. Your software alone is going to run on the cloud. That's it. Okay. Your environment is going to run on cloud. It's not that your DB will also be there on the cloud as such. It's not on Azure network.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, with the resources
Hi,
and all the
Feroz.
things. Yeah,
Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Actually, just wanted to know, like, what are the prerequisites for this thing, like creating for this VM machine? What are the prerequisites required at our end, hardware configuration?
It should be fine here. Like you have some 4 GB RAM and at least some free space of 10 GB hard disk. That should be fine.
Okay, so no port enabling is not required, right? Because
No
I
need
couldn't
of
have it done
port
over here.
enabling.
Port
No need
enabling
of
is not
port. If
required.
see,
Okay.
you're asking for the VM.
Yeah. The thing that you
Okay.
currently just said.
If you're asking for the VM, yes, you need port to be opened up. See, I'll just write it over here. Okay. Your VM, I mean the one which comes up with the SSMS should be having the following requirements. Okay. You go up with SQL Server 2016. Probably you can select for Service Pack 1. Okay. Size should be B2MS. And port should be 3389, which you should open up. And when you have something called as SQL, the blade which comes the last before, right? There you should open up port again, which is a public internet. Public internet will be there. You need to open up that. And SQL authentication should be enabled. This is the requirement that you have. Port 3389 should be opened up. It should be proxyless, only then you can connect it. Is that okay?
Okay. Actually, I had tried over here, but due to certain policies, I couldn't get it done from the IST mobile.
Correct. If you're using your corp environment network, right, then it will not help you to connect for the lab machine that you're going to create. You have a couple of ways in that sense. One is you go up with your mobile network. If you have a personal mobile network, just do the hotspot and then you connect with that. The other way that you can do is you just go up with your, if you have the rights to install software on your machine, download SSMS. I can show you. Just give me a moment. I will even give you guys the link. Sorry. Yeah, just go up with this here. You can install via the chat sheet. Yeah. So you can install this at your laptop, the one which you're going to use, and then you can go ahead. So this will not be requiring for any port or anything like that.
Yeah.
I hope you're there. Yeah.
Firoz, then
Okay.
usually the network will be the private network, right? So you are saying that to open the port and all the things. So then in real-time scenarios, how will we do the migration?
In real-time scenario, again, we need the 3389 to be opened up. Only then we can connect for the RDP. You're asking about the remote desktop connectivity, or you're asking about SQL connectivity?
SQL connectivity and migration part.
Okay, SQL connectivity in the sense you can just go up with the private network itself. You can say either private or you can say public. The only requirement over there is that you need to ensure port 1433 is mentioned over there.
Okay.
Yeah. So port 1433, and it's upon your requirement whether it's going to be public or private network or even the local one that you're going to open up across. Okay, and then you can go up with the DMS. So here I'm using public. I'll just show you how we are going to connect with it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one more thing is which region I need to choose.
Data center region, right? You can go up with Southeast Asia. Wait, just wait for me. Don't do the demo now. I'll complete the demo and then I will give you time. Okay, I'll give you the Azure Pass credentials as well. You can use the Azure accounts what I am going to give, and then you can go up with the demo. Excuse me.
Firoz, do you come up with scenarios having more than 2 TB of data?
Not exactly. Yeah, we are not going to use more. Your question is that are we going to move up with a demo which is said to be up to 2 TB of data? Am I right?
No, not about demo, real-time scenario.
Real-time scenario, yes. You speak about any applications which is related to e-commerce or big data stores, right? That will come up more than 2 TBs of data, which I have worked on.
Okay.
Here we are not going to do that. We are not going to come up with such a huge volume of data because we don't have a long time for us. If you need, I can give you handouts. You can just go with that and you can see how you can move up to 2 TBs of data like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So here we have the resource. I'll just go to the VM. And let me connect for the machine here, okay? Connect. Down the RDP file. All right. So I'll give up the credentials and let's connect for the VM now. Okay. Okay, so I'll go up here and I will connect for the SSMS. Okay, you can find SSMS here. Can you find this? We have Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. And before that, I will go to the server manager. I will turn off the IE and security configuration. I'll be getting some security blocks, so I will just turn off this. Let me go up to the Azure portal here. All right. So from here, we will try to connect. Okay. I just want you guys to make sense between the SQL DB or business. So this is my destination that I have. I can go to the SQL database. You should find TCS SQL DB, which we have created. Now let me go to the SSMS, the local one. Okay. I'll open up SQL Server Management Studio. All right. So here is my SSMS. I will connect for the machine. See, I want you guys to make sense here. This is a server name, okay, and it's a Windows authentication which is going to connect for this particular RDP. I mean local one, okay. This will not create a database which will be on the cloud. Are you clear, guys? Hello?
Can you repeat once, Firoz? Sorry.
Yes. Excuse me. Am I audible now? Hello?
Yes, Firoz.
Yeah, thanks, sir. So here we have something like the DB that you are going to create, right? Here I have a database. I'm going to create a DB, and this DB will be over there on local environment, this Windows VM. Okay, it's not going to be on the cloud. I hope you're getting it. See, I will go to the database. I will say create a database. So consider this is set to be a on-prem one. Okay, this is not going to be a cloud one. I hope you're getting it now.
Yeah, Firoz. Yeah.
Yeah. Please stop me if you have any questions. Okay. And here creating a database where I will say it as a TCS DB. Okay. And let's click on OK. So this is going to be a DB at local. All right. So let's go up with the database. You can find TCS DB. Okay. Now inside this database, let's create some tables, some values, something. Okay. So I will say new query. And it's going to be create table. I'll make it as, what shall we say, table name, employee. Okay. So table name is going to be employee, and we will open up this. Person ID is going to be here. Let's first give here. Okay, I'll say employee ID. Let's say employee ID. And I would say last name, first name, all these the details. Okay, let's use this. And 255. First name. And okay, let's put up two more fields, right? I would say address. And finally, we will go up with the same. Okay, so this is my DB table, which I'm going to run it across, okay, on this particular database. I hope you guys are clear till this. This is my on-prem. Is that okay? Hey guys, any questions?
Yeah, Firoz, if you support the large objects as well, image and all the things.
Yeah, it supports. Any other questions? All right. Let me go up now. Okay, see, this is my on-prem, which I have. Now I will go up with my browser. I'll say that I need something called as DMA. Okay, so let's say download Azure DMA. Okay, can you find this? We have the database migration assistant. So I will download this database migration assistant and I will install it on this particular local machine. Okay, so we will go up here and I will go up with the, can you find this? We have this database migration assistant. I told you, right, this can go up with two things. One is your assessment and the other one is going to be the migration. Okay, both of those things can be done. Let me show you. All right, let's go for new. I want you people to make sense here. I have one as assessment and the other one is migration. Assessment is going to be the first step that we are going to do. So let's say the project name is demo assessment. Okay. Source type, can you find this? It's from SQL Server or even if it is going to be from other CSP. Okay. So let's say SQL Server and my destination is going to be Azure SQL Database. Now let me click on create. You can find the reports, right? It's going to check the database compatibility, which is going to be the object, the schema that we have. It is going to check the features as well, okay, the applications, logs, functions, okay, actions that it's going to take and what re-engineering work that you need to do. And shortly we are going to come up with this as well, okay. The database features of your DTUs, all these things can also be managed from here itself. Okay, I'm speaking about Azure SQL DB1. Let's click on next and I'll select the source. So my server name is going to be SQL, I guess it was SQL Lab VM something, if I'm not wrong. Let me check. Yeah, it is SQL Lab VM. Windows authentication. Trust the certificate of the server. Let's click on connect. Can you find the databases here? I have this machine and I have what DB. Now let me roll back to the question what you people are asking about. If the collection of the database, see this is one DB that I have. I can even say that I will create another new database, right? Let's copy the same. Okay. I would say I will go for a new database, another new DB. It's getting loaded here. Just give me a moment. All right. So let's say this is a Wipro DB something, okay? And I will click on OK. All right. So I have this database. Let's go for this DB and let's put up the query here. And let's execute this. Okay. So now let me go for this database. SQL authentication, let's connect. You should find two DBs, right? Now what I'm mentioning here is that when I go up with this database, okay, I mean a server and a collection of database, the maximum it can support here is said to be up to 2 TB that you have, okay, not more than that. Now let's select the database. I want to migrate this TCS alone, okay, and I'll click on add. And let's say start the assessment. So there we go up with the assessment. This will tell me what are the flags that I have, warning that we have, okay, recommendation steps to be taken up. Can you find this? We are getting the unsupported features. When you go up with any sort of analytical processing, SQL database is not recommended. This is only for the text processing, right? So this does not know what architecture you have, so it takes you the overview. Okay. So in case if you're connecting it for the data breaks, or in case if you're connecting for data warehouse and things like that, you cannot do analytics over here. No analysis service can be integrated. So that's what you're getting here. That's unsupported features. Okay. And it also says that it's recommended that you can go up with these things, and it's up to your decision if you're going to move it towards a big data store of volumes, or if it is only about the migration that you have in your architecture. Now, if you are going to click on export the report, I can say export the report towards my desktop, okay? And let's say demo export. I can open up this value. It will be on JSON, okay, which you can refer it even again. I will open this with a notepad. Can you find the values here? Your DB is PCS, okay? You have the size, which is 16 MB, status completed for assessment, okay? And this gives you the warning of these things. Any questions? Hello? Hello? Are we connected?
Yes, Firoz, yeah.
All right. Yeah.
We can ignore the warnings, or means in what sense we need to take that warnings?
Yeah, that's what I told you. No, you can ignore. It will just give you a normal assessment report. Okay. Excuse me. You would be having your own architecture, right? Now, my architecture, let's say that I'm just going to work only on the migration. I'm not going to come up with scenarios like I need this to be connected with your your big data workloads or anything like that. So this is not going to be a recommended thing that I need to take it across. It's up to us. We have to decide what sort of action we are going to avoid in the warning.
Okay.
Are you clear? Yeah.
Okay.
Now let's go up with this. Okay, compatibility issues. We don't have anything on the compatibility issue. Okay, so which means that we are good to go. Okay, this will detect the schema. It will say what are the object modeling, re-engineering work you need to do. Okay, so we are 0 with that. We are good to go now. I will now go up here. I will say I need to go with a migration. Let's say demo migration. Source is SQL Server. Destination is Azure SQL Database. I need either both of the things to be migrated or only the schema or data. I need to mention that. Okay, so let's say I need schema and data, and let's click on create. So server name, again it is SQL Lab VM. Windows authentication, let's click on connect. I have 2 databases. I'll select only 1 DB. Okay. Let's say I'll go with the TCS database. Now towards Azure. Okay. Let's go up with the server name, target server. If you need, you can create a SQL DB from here itself. See, I will click on create a new. It will take me for the Azure portal. But we have already created it. Okay, it's a document again. We have already created it, so I will call the server alone here. Let's go up with the portal. Here is my server name. Let's take up a SQL Server Authentication. There, click on connect. Can you find this? We have TCS SQL DB. And let's say next. Schema and object is detected. So we have one data here, employee. Okay, you can generate the SQL scripts. And let's say deploy the schema. Okay, can you find this? We have all the schemas over here. Okay, the object detected all these things. Now you can say that I need to migrate the database. Let's start data migration. So this is an online database migration. Okay, I migrated it. And there we go. Now we can go to the Azure Portal. I can go up with the server name. You should find SQL databases. This is exactly where we connected with, right? TCS SQL. Let's go up with the SSMS and I will connect with the TCS SQL one. So let's say connect, and this is my server name with SQL Server Authentication. In my database, I should find TCS SQL. And inside TCS SQL, we have tables. Can you find this? We have dbo.employee, right? So this is exactly what we created. I hope you are able to follow. Any questions until this? Hello? Any questions? Hey guys, yeah, make it interactive please, because I'll be waiting for you people if you have any questions or anything. So if you're good to go, I will share the Azure account credentials. You can go up with a demo. Let me know once when you complete the demo, we will go for the next one, which will be about the replication of the database, all these things. Okay. So I will just put up the credentials for you people over here. All right. Okay, let me put it on your chat panel. Okay, notes. So the ID will be learn Azure at coacheslearn.pk, and the password will be this. Okay, create one resource group and work within that. Okay, this is going to be the password. I hope you guys can go to the notes and you can take it across, right? Or I will put it on the chat panel if you need. Just give me a moment. Go up with this Azure account details, okay, and you can try doing the demo of what we did now. Let me know once when you complete the demo so that we can go for the next topic. Hello? Hello? Yeah, thanks, Lata. Just looking for if you need any help, guys. It's all good? All right. Thanks. Please drop me a text if you have completed the demo so that we will go for the next part. Okay? You can take time. You can take around like 15 minutes and let me know once after you complete the demo. Hi, Abhi. You should go with SQL Server. Can you see my screen? I'll just show you across. Click on Create a Resource. Okay, go up with SQL Server. Just search for SQL Server. Select this image. Okay, SQL Server 2016, Service Pack 1 on Windows Server 2016. And there you should find the first one. Okay, free license developer 1.
Hey guys, Oriola. Can we go for the next demo? Hello. Yeah, I hope we are good, right? All right, yes. So, fine, let's go up with the next one, which is about the database migration service. Okay. We will be working on the database migration service by tomorrow, but as of now, just make sense about the DMS, how to create a DMS, the resource providers, all these things. By any chance, have you ever worked with the service called as ARM template, guys? We have a service called as Azure Resource Manager, right? And that generates a template for you. Have you worked on that? All right. Okay. So here, if you have worked on the ARM templates, you have something called as resource providers. Okay. You need to represent the resource providers first, and only after the resource providers will take the advantages of representing the schema when you write the parameters, all these things. So you should go for all services. You should be the admin to do this. Okay. You can go up for all services. And just give me a moment. It's getting loaded. You need to go for subscriptions. Go for the R2 one. And here you can find resource providers. You can scroll down. You should find resource providers. You can find the status as registered, all these things, right? So you need to go for database, right? You can search for database. I'm sorry, migration. I'm sorry here. You can go for migration. Can you find this Microsoft data migration? This should be registered by default. Okay, you need to register it if it is not registered. Okay, so there we go up with DMS. The first point is to register your requisites. Okay, and now we will go for the DMS. Remember, DMS is going to be the same what we were speaking across, but the tool which I showed you on the lab VM we created, the tool which we had, those things are going to support you only for the homogeneous one. You were able to see it, right? When I say I'm going to move up with a new project, right, migration, can you find this? It's only with SQL Server and the SQL family what we have on Azure. It's not for NoSQL. It's not for heterogeneous one. Okay. So what we will do here is that you could go for your, just give me a second. Yeah. So you can go for your resource providers. You need to register this first, and then we will click on create a resource, and we will say I will create a Azure database migration service. So go for Azure Database Migration Service. Here you can find, it helps you to go up with SQL Server to Azure SQL Database, SQL Server to MI, MongoDB to Azure Cosmos DB, MySQL towards Azure DB for MySQL. You have heterogeneous sets as well over here. Okay. And the additional resource is where you can use this on-premise database assessment to be taken up using Azure DMA. Let's now click on create. And I've created this DMS service. Give me a time, it's getting loaded. Let me try refreshing it. Okay, here. So let's go up with this, right? I will say codes Azure DMS, Database Migration Service. Resource group, I'll use the same what we have here. Location, I can go up with Southeast Asia. Now we are going to create a VNet. Okay, so this compute what we are going to allocate will be available within a VNet environment. Let's say its codes is the VNet. And pricing tier will be, we were discussing things, right? We were saying that you have something called a standard and you have something called as premium. Okay, standard will go up with the large data sizes that you have. Okay, premium will go up with the online and offline migration. So that makes the sense. Let's go up with standard now. I'll click on OK. I'm not going to do any migration. This is a topic for tomorrow. Just setting up a heads up. Okay. Let's click on create. So it's going to be a standard 1 core of CPU where we are going to create a DMS. Meanwhile, you can keep me written if you have any questions. Hello. Was there any question? All right. Okay, it's still getting deployed. Let me wait for it. So here we are. We are with the DMS. Can you find this? This is the DMS service which has been created. We are there at the standard plan, which is 1 core of CPU, and that's available within a VNet. Okay. I told you we have something called as ARM template, so you can go for the export template, and you can find the ARM templates which has been generated. This is where we have the ARM template, right? This is called the ARM template that we have. And this can work out only if we have the Microsoft database which has been enabled. Okay. And yes, I will go up with the overview. And here we can say that I'll create a new migration project. Okay. So status is still deploying. We have to wait for it. Once after the deployment gets completed, you should find the new migration project which gets enabled. All right. This should take a bit long time here, so just make sense, right? Once after this gets deployed, you can find new migration project. So when you click on the new migration project, it will ask you the source and the destination that you have. Still it's getting deployed, we have to wait. Any questions on the demo? Demo is all good? Excuse me? All right. Thanks, yeah. Thanks for acknowledging. See, I will just give you a heads up, though we are not going to do this. Okay, tomorrow we will be doing the online and offline migration things. Okay, just makes sense. Your migrations are going to work with few basic things. You should have a prerequisites of installing the SQL Server 2016. Keep your machines available, like you have some on-prem machine with the SSMS or anything like that. You need to enable the TCP and IP protocol for it. Okay, we will be using SQL Server Express installation on that. You can enable or disable it. Okay. You can also create a single DB, which is an Azure SQL database. So your migration will be from the SSIS or SSMS that you have it on the on-prem, and you're going to move it towards the Azure SQL one. So you will be creating a VNet, and in your VNet, you will be having the DMS, which has been already connected, right? You have a DMS which has been already connected. So you will connect with the VNet, and using Express Route or VPN, you can just do the migration points. Did you guys work on the SQL DB of geo-replication, all these things? Doing geo-replication on Azure SQL database? Hello?
We had done a small demo previously with Shashank. But,
Shashank, okay.
It was not Azure SQL database. It was...
Which one? Your voice is breaking. Can you come again?
It was not specifically Azure SQL data warehouse. I guess it was maybe...
No, I'm not asking data warehouse. I'm asking about database, SQL database.
Yeah, it was not Azure SQL database. It was a data lake
Okay. So that's of your big data science. Okay, fine. Okay, guys, let's go with that then. Okay, I will just help you to make sense about the SQL database. So you go up with your DB which you created, right? You go up with the SQL database and go up with this TCS SQL DB. So there we have something called as geo-replication. Can you find this? You can go for the geo-replication and you can replicate the DB. Now I have a DB which is at Southeast Asia. From here I can move the DB towards any of the US regions that we have. I can say I will move it towards the central US. And let's create a server with the central US part. So let's say code Sizzler, demo user. You can click on select. So this new server gets created. We haven't done pooling on the primary one. So here also you will not get the pooling one. Pricing tier is set to be 2 GB. If you need, you can go for a standard or premium one that you have. Now, make sense, the secondary type will be only with readable. It's not like your NoSQL. NoSQL goes up with multi-read and write operations across the data centers, right? It is not like that. Only the primary data center region will be with read and write. Secondary will have only readable access. In case if the primary goes down, then you will get the data from the secondary one. By that time, it will go with the both read and write. Point one. Point two here is that your data center can be initiated with a failover, a forced failover or anything, and you can do the drill test to check whether the data can be retrieved from the secondary data center or not as such. And finally, the synchronization between the on-premise machine and the cloud machine will be managed by Azure itself. Okay. Let's click on OK, and the replication gets happened here. Can you find this? The replication is going on from the primary region towards the secondary region. Okay. So for the first time alone, it will take a long time, and then the sync will be taken care by Microsoft. You can go across for the secondaries. In secondary, you can find initializing, right? So you have the initializing thing that happens, and the primary is now at online. Once when this initializing gets done, then the secondary one will also go up with read. Okay, not read and write, it's only read. Okay. You can try doing all these demos. Okay, as you have the Azure account, you can try all these things with the accounts which we have given. And let me see if this has been created, then I will also help you with the same. All right, on screen, please. You have this migration which has been created, right? DMS which has been created. So you can click on the new migration project. And here you're going to say what you're going to migrate. Can you find we have two sort of things as when I click on this, you should find offline and online migration. And you have something called schema only migration as well. Okay. So I can give the project name here. I'll make it as demo 1. And source server type is set to be SQL Server, destination is Azure SQL. This we cannot change it as we have configured the same when we created. Let's go for here, and I can say what sort of migration I'm going to do. Or as of now, I can say I will create this project as well. Let's click on save. Now, can you find this? To go up with DMS, right, you are going to come up with the target SQL database. You will have DMA, the one which we already initiated, okay? And you're going to fix the data ranging thing, what you need to do, and then you will do the migration. Are you clear, guys? The one way is that you come here, you create a DMS, and then you do all the migration. The other way that we can go across is you go with a DMA to be installed, and then you do the migration. Yeah, go ahead. Some question was there. Hello. Okay, let me click on create. So this creates a project for us now. I can say the server name, your source SQL Server instance, okay? Let's say SQL Lab VM. Authentication type is set to be Windows. Username and password that we are going to give. Let's say Trust Server Certificate, and we can click on Save. So this is my source that I have. So from the source, we are going to select the DB. That's going to be the second one. Okay, it should be domain name. All right, SQL Lab VM / demo user. Should not take a long time. Just give me a second. All right. Let's see. Okay, it says interactive troubleshoot the SQL network related to the SQL Server issue. Verify the instance name is correct. The SQL Server is configured or remote connections. We have opened up the port, but we are getting this. Okay, anyhow, this we are going to work for tomorrow. Okay, I will go up with creating a VNet, all these things. Just make sense. We will go up with this DMS, okay, and from the DMS we will give the source, the destination, all these things, and we will make sense whether we are going to move up with the online database migration or with the offline database migration as such, okay. So that's how this DMS is going to work. I just want to summarize the things that we have. We started up working with your SQL DB, okay, how to create a SQL database as such. That's going to be the target environment. I can make sense for you people over here. So we started with Azure DMS, Database Migration Service. The database migration service is all about like you're going to migrate the database which is set to be from the on-premise environment towards the cloud environment, or even between the cloud homogeneous or heterogeneous applications that you have. Here we started working across creating a SQL server, which I'm considering it as an on-prem one, okay? And I also have a machine which is said to be, not a machine, but a PaaS service that we have it on the cloud. That's your Azure SQL database. I created a DB which is at on-prem, which was called as TCS SQL DB, and that I moved towards the cloud environment. Okay, so that's point one that we have done. The second one, I mean, first we did the assessment. Okay, we were detecting the objects, we were detecting the schema and all these things. The second one was about your assessment that we did. Okay, taking up the object schema, what we had, taking up the assessment report, what we had, we went with the migration. So that was the point two which we did. Okay, so that's about your DMS with DMA, what you can do. Further, we created this service called as database migration service. The DMS will help you to go up with standard or premium plans. We stick towards something called as standard, and that was helping us to go up with you need to migrate your data alone, or you need to do online and offline migration. We were selecting those things, and we did the migration from the source towards the destination one that we had. Okay, we have stopped with the DMS. We have online and offline migration which we'll be doing, which I am going to work on it by tomorrow. Okay, so you have the Azure credentials with you. You have another probably like 15 minutes, so you can try the demo and you can keep me posted if you have any questions. Is that okay? I hope you guys should be having the slides already with you. Sashank should have shared you the GitHub link with you guys. Am I right?
Yes, we have it.
Yes, you can find the slides over there. If you, in case if you have any questions or anything like that, just take up my account, right? My email ID. This is my email ID, firoz@codesister.info. Do drop me a mail. Okay, anytime you can just drop me a mail, or you can even write to this account, reach us at codesister.info, and they will help you out if you have any questions. Okay?
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I have the feedback link here and just adding it on the chat panel as well. So go with the survey and get it done as well, please. Any questions?
Hi, Firoz. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're audible.
Hi, I'm Joseph. Actually, Firoz, I was trying to ask, like, we have got the database management service,
Okay.
and using this, we would be trying to migrate the data from source to the target database.
Okay.
So, why do we require a VM for this activity?
You're asking about the demo, what we are doing right now, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. See, here in my local machine, I don't have something called as SSMS.
Okay.
Right? So I need a SSMS to create a database, which will be a local one. That's the reason we created a VM which comes up with a SSMS. So in this VM, right, you can see my screen, I hope so. And here at start, you can find we had SSMS, right? Using SSMS, we were creating the VM. Just give me a moment, I will show you. Yeah.
Okay.
Inside this virtual machine, right? We have SSMS inside this machine. Okay, so using this machine, we are creating a local DB, and I connected with the local one only. Okay, can you find this? We have two things. This is a SQL server that we have, codesystem.database.windows.net, and this is a local one. At the top, you can find it, SQL Lab VM. This is a local one. So we are creating a DB, which is a local one, and that we are trying to move towards the Azure platform, Azure SQL DB.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have no access for SSMS in my local machine. Okay, I don't have SSMS installed. So that's the only reason. I hope that's the same of you guys as well, because we did TCS in person. We saw that you people have no permission to install software on your laptops, right? You cannot install SSMS on your laptops if you don't have. That's the reason we have moved towards something called as Lab VM. So I hope you can make sense. I named it as SQL Lab VM. Okay. So this is going to be a lab virtual machine which creates a database that is set to be a local one, and that has to be moved towards the cloud. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah. One more doubt, Firoz.
Yes.
Suppose I have a target database as an Oracle database, and I am planning to migrate that database into Azure SQL Data Warehouse. For suppose.
Okay.
Then the first thing what I need to do is I have to define my source database, which would be my Oracle database, using DMS, right?
You're right.
First I have to create. Okay. And then I have to define my target database as the SQL data warehouse, and then we have to go ahead with the migration.
No. Your source is Oracle. Am I right?
Yes.
Your source is Oracle SQL Store, and your destination is
SQL data warehouse.
No, you cannot do the migrations towards data warehouse. You can go up only with a SQL database or SQL server on a Windows server, something like that. So moving the data towards a SQL data warehouse cannot be done. You can set the architecture, you can set pipelines that you're going to call it from a SQL database or something like that. But from the on-premise machine towards a SQL data warehouse cannot be done. You're getting me a point?
Yes. Actually, Firoz, the database, suppose the database is greater than 4 terabyte, means my source database is greater than 4 terabytes, and so the only option left with us is to migrate my database to the Azure data warehouse.
Correct.
So how do we go about it? Like, first I have to migrate my data to an Azure SQL DB, and from the DB I have to migrate the data.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. You need to migrate the data towards SQL DB, which is not Azure SQL DB. Instead, you need to go for MI. I hope you know managed instance, right? you have SQL database managed instance, or you have SQL Server on Windows Server. So you need to migrate for any of these things that supports for huge capacity. Okay, and from there you can call it towards a data warehouse.
Okay.
Yeah, because your Azure SQL, your on-premise will not help you to migrate your data towards data warehouse directly. I can even make it more simple. See, I will show you on the screen. I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
I'm here creating a resource. Okay, I'll click on create a resource and I'll say I need Azure Database Migration Service. Okay, so they will clearly brief you what all the migration that you can do. Can you find this? You are asking about Oracle. So you can go up from Oracle towards SQL DB. If you're large in size, you go with Oracle to SQL DB MI. I told you now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can go up with SQL DB MI. Or you can go from Oracle to the PostgreSQL that you have. You would not be able to move towards a data warehouse. So you call the data towards any of these repos. You call it towards SQL DB or you call the data towards SQL DB MI. And from there, you can move towards your data warehouse components.
Okay.
Are you clear?
Yeah. And one more question, Firoz. Suppose I have my data into the Azure SQL database MI. Then from there, to move my data to data warehouse, do I need to use Polybase or external tables?
Yes, you have to come up with the external table and you have to use Polybase as well because you will be having a change in schema. You need to make sense whether it's going to be a static schema or dynamic schema. Only then you're going to do your further things. So you need to use Polybase. That's going to be the first step. You need to come up with the data modeling. Okay, that's like moreover the important layer that you have.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions?
That's all from my side. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, that's fine. Hey, Abhay, you should find it over there. Just give me a second. I will check it. github.com/jumpstart. So you will go up with this Jumpstart Ninja Hub, and there you have the repositories. And in repositories, we have this VILT data, right? So you need to go up with, no, not the day 7. Just give me a second. I will check this. Okay, it's data lake. Okay, day 8 is not there for you. Well, guys, keep this link to be saved. Okay, keep this link to be saved. By the next half an hour, you can find the documents on that. Okay, I will create the repo with the day 8 folder, and I will push the docs. Okay, it's simple. We already have it. We have it over here on the data part. You can find repositories, and in repositories here we just have data, right? Yes, this Hero Solutions data. And here in data series, we have it. Day 1. Okay, so this we are going to do it. Day 1, we are working on this DMS part. I just want to make a cutoff, okay, with the slides and everything, because this we are going to work for 2 days, right? It's like for 8 hours training, which we are going to work for 2 days. So I will do this for you guys. Just give me half an hour. I will do this and I will share it with you. Okay. Abhi, I hope you're getting it. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I guess we should be fine. We'll check that in half an hour or so.
All right. Thanks, Viren. Thank you. Hey guys, people who haven't filled the feedback form, please get it done with the surveys. You have the survey form here. Okay, I'm sharing the link once again. Please get this done. Well, guys, we will close with this for today. Okay, and just let me know if you have any questions. Okay, I'm sorry for the mess up what we had today. I mean the infra-related things, and now we are good to go with everything. We'll be joining tomorrow for the online and offline database migration, and I would request you people to work on the demo, what we did right now. Okay, make sense about how the DMA works, DMS works. Okay, only then it will be good for you guys to work on the online migration, offline migration by tomorrow. Okay. Thank you so much for joining then. See you guys tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Firoz. Thank you, everyone.